into the event page. Hey, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing this morning? This is Jim Fierce. I'm here with John Jerkowitz and Manolos, and this is my first time ever doing a business hangout. So if it turns into a big old hot mess, please forgive me. But you know what? You got to try new things. You got to get out of your comfort zone every once in a while and try some new things. So I'm not sure. Well, let me introduce John and Manolos, and I'm going to try just boxing them and hope that works. John is shaking his head.
We should just be able. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
All you need to do is introduce us.
Oh, okay. And you'll show up on the.
We should. Okay.
So, hey, John. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Jim.
How's it going?
Wonderfully.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, that was weird. Okay.
Okay, Jim. In the participants, over on the right-hand side, where it says participants.
Yes.
All right. There's cameras by me and Manolos, correct?
Okay.
See, like little movie cameras next to a gear wheel?
Yeah, hold on. I've got to get the Business Hangout app back up. Like I said, welcome to the hot mess this morning. Just be patient with me here for a second.
This would be a good ad for Team Referral Network. If you know more about Business Hangouts, please join us.
Right. You can help. Okay. Yes, I see the camera.
Okay. If you want, click on Manolos' camera.
Okay.
Okay. Now you
bingo.
put. Okay. That's it. So if Manolos can go ahead and introduce himself, and then when he's done, you can click on my camera, and that'll pull me up. Okay.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, John.
You're welcome, Jim.
All right, Manolos, go for it.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Manolos Finarolakis, the founder and creator of Reality Crowd TV Media Corporation. We are a company that is creating a program to educate entrepreneurs on how to actually appropriately and successfully execute a crowdfunding campaign. We help people turn social capital into actual capital through the internet. I just joined Team probably about a month and a half ago, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. There's a lot of good people I'm meeting. It's a great referral network, and thank you so much, Jim, for having me on today.
Oh, you're welcome. You know what? Hey, Manolos, go ahead and chat for just another couple of seconds. I'm going to try and embed this hangout into the event page and just see what happens. See if that works.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and maybe tell us a little bit. You're going to do a show later on this morning, so if you want to go ahead and promo that, that would be awesome.
Sure. So basically, we do weekly shows, sometimes twice a week, and today's show is at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The title of the show is Crowdfunding Office Hours, and the purpose is really to be able to help individuals who may have any questions on crowdfunding. Maybe they're new to crowdfunding, they don't even know where to start, they don't even know what it is. So we answer basic questions, myself and other experts who join the call every week. We also do presentations for those who are more advanced in their training and they want to learn a little bit more of practical tools and tips. And it's just a great way to meet new people and to also get educated at the same time. So it's a great program. I hope everybody watches it today at 1 o'clock Eastern Time.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Manolos.
You're welcome.
Evidently, I'm not able to embed this into the event page, so we will just continue. So again, this is Jim Fierce with Team Referral Network. I'm a corporate director, with the sole mission of bringing up virtual teams. Okay, so with virtual teams, we're taking the in real life Team Referral Network concept to a whole new level, and allowing people in the virtual world to become a part of team. But the real purpose of what I'm doing here today is really just to share some tips and useful information that we as team members have garnered along the way, through our careers and through our involvement with team. And so today what I really want to talk about, something that's really super important, really to all businesses, is networking effectively. And the thing with networking is it's not always what you know, but a lot of times in life it's who you know, and combined with the fact that people will do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And the best way to know, like, and trust somebody is to get to know them. And a really super effective way to get to know other people out of your normal kind of sphere of influence is to network. And so there's multiple ways in today's society. Hey, Catherine. There's multiple ways in today's society, or in today's environment, that we can network. I mean, it's really kicked up like 1,000 notches with the internet. Now with Google Plus Hangouts, I mean, there are a crap load of ways that you can actually network. And so what I'd like to talk to you guys about today are some tips that I've learned along the way. A lot of them by making mistakes, of course, but just some things that I've learned about networking. And I don't know if I got this in at the beginning, but today's show and going forward, all of the other shows are going to be half an hour max in length. So we'll get in, we'll get out, we'll give you some great tips. If there are any questions, I think there's a way for audience members to ask questions. And of course, if there are any questions in the film strip, I'll be happy to answer those.
James, do you want everybody to introduce themselves before you?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's go down. So we already had Manolos introduce ourselves. John, if you want to do a quick introduction.
Sure.
And then Catherine as well. So take it away, John.
My name's John Jerkowitz. I'm a career development coach and consultant. And in a nutshell, what I do is I help businesses manage their most precious and valuable resource. That's their employees. It's also their most costly resource. I've been in business for close to 15 years, and probably for the last year I've been transitioning my business to be virtual and internet-based. I've been part of team for about a month. And the best thing about being part of team for me is that Manolos' last name is harder to pronounce than mine. That's the first time in my life that's ever happened. So there you go. That's me in a nutshell.
Happy to be of service, John.
You're welcome, Manolos.
And hey, Catherine. Oh.
Okay. Wow, okay, this is the first time I've been on a hangout, too. Hi!
Hey, Catherine.
Yeah, and I need to work on my elevator speech, but basically, I took the big leap back in 2013. I quit my radio station job and decided to go work for myself. I don't know if I was crazy or what. I'm in the process of getting not just one but 2 startups up and going, and it's been quite the adventure, and I write about it on blogs and stuff. I'm here to learn to network because I tend to be a hermit, and it's something I need to work on.
Oh, you know what? That's perfect. And let me just, and Catherine, you're a perfect example of how networking works and how it can be effective, because you and I met, I believe. So I started a community called Create, Innovate, and Thrive, and I had the pleasure of meeting Catherine through that community. And Catherine is an amazing person. She is totally
crazy.
Well, not crazy, but I mean, she's totally just like every other entrepreneur. All of us, we're taking a risk. Sometimes we have, like, I don't want to say no clue, but we have no clue about the risk that we're taking, and we have no clue. Sometimes we don't know exactly where our entrepreneurial decisions are going to take us. And what I love about Catherine is she's right. She's been blogging. She just puts it all out there. She tells it like it is. And this whole adventure for her has been a little bit scary. But anyways, with all of that said, you can network virtually and then bring that virtual network in real life, just like we did here today. So that's awesome. Welcome, Catherine. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that this was your first Hangout opportunity, and hopefully there will be many, many more. So anyway, so let me talk really quickly about the importance of networking. And like I said earlier, it's really, life isn't always necessarily about what you know. It's also about who you know, how you can help others, and how others can help you. So there are three things that I want to make sure that if you get absolutely nothing else out of today's Team Talks, that you pick up on these three things. Whenever you're networking, try to make it not about you, but about the other person. And it's so much easier to network if you're not focusing on yourself, but you're focusing on the other person and questions you can ask the other people to get to know them. So number one tip is it's not about you. Whenever you're networking, I always say don't sell, but it's okay to show and tell. Okay? So don't sell, because typically in networking events, nobody's really there to buy anyways. So you're just spinning your wheels if you're going into a networking event just to sell. But if you go into a networking event with the mindset of, I just want to meet some really cool people, make some awesome connections. I don't know where those connections will go, but serendipity has a way of taking you, somewhere where you might not even expect. And I'll give you a really good example. So last night, Manolos, just off the cuff, invited me into this crazy hangout, and we actually hung out for 3 hours. And I literally, Manolos, I'd never do that. I'd never just randomly go into hangouts, but I thought, you know what the hell? I'm going to do it. I mean, I like Manolos a ton anyways, and so when I get an invite from him, it's meaningful. Well, in that particular hangout, I had the opportunity to meet two really, really cool people, and one that and not to be selfish, but for the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, I've been getting back into Twitter, and I'm going to start up some Twitter chats. Well, it just happens that one of the people in the hangout last night is like a Twitter expert, and he really knows a whole lot about Twitter chats. He's involved in a ton of Twitter chats, and he actually he volunteered to help me get 1 or 2 of the Twitter chats off the ground and get some traffic coming to that Twitter chat. That would, talk about serendipity, that would have never happened had, number one, had I not met Manolos, number two, had I not decided to just go in and hang out with those guys. I mean, again, it's just the power of networking, the power of serendipity, and how networking, how you can take networking from the virtual world into the in real life world and meet people who will help you. And of course, you want to help as many people as you can when you're networking as well. So don't sell, show and tell. And then the last one is, when you're networking, just simply have fun. Have a good time. And so I'd like to, since I've got 3 esteemed panelists here, I want to talk to each one of the, yeah, John's looking around. Where? Who? Me? I want to get a little bit of their take on networking and how it's worked for them. And I want to also hear about maybe some of your major network FUBUs, failures. So let's start with Manolos. Hey, Manolos.
How's it going, Jim?
Good. So tell us a little bit about what you have gotten out of networking, but if there's a major networking faux pas that you've committed in the last, I don't know, year or so that you can remember, I'd like to hear about that as well.
Sure. So, so with networking, there's this is the way most people start networking, in my opinion. They're so passionate about what they do, and so immediately when they begin to start a new business, or when they're even working for another company, they're so excited about what they do that they're quick to just only talk about that. Similar to what you said earlier, it's not about you, it's about them. But when you're really excited and passionate about something, it just comes off, and you want to tell everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But with networking, the way that I've trained myself to be now, because I made many mistakes when I initially started networking, I tried to convince people of why they should see my point of view, instead of altering my pitch to tell them that this would help them in their point of view. So the way that I've trained myself now is that I usually talk only 25% of the time, and I always lead a conversation asking questions. I always try to become the first person to ask another person a question about themselves or their business, because I notice that when you do that, it forces them to kind of answer, and you kind of have a little bit of, I don't want to call it leverage, but you're leading the conversation when you're the one engaging and asking the questions and continually being the one to engage. And when you do that, you know, let's say the conversation's an hour long, they've been talking for 45 minutes, and then they get tired of talking, and then they say, so tell me about you. And that's where the last 15 minutes are reserved for what I do. But because I listened for 45 minutes, I now know that I have to cater my pitch to these certain bullet points, because I learned a lot about that person in 45 minutes. And so I know that, you know, if I was going to say this to them when I initially met them because I didn't know anything about them, I just realized that they don't value that at all. They value something else, and my service will provide that level of value to them, but I have to communicate it in the right way. So really, networking is about gathering information and waiting until they ask you about what you do at the end of the conversation, so that you can then trigger little flashes of insight in their mind that they actually need your product or service.
Right. And you know what? I want to piggyback. That's perfect. Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh, my. Jim, you should have also added that networking is spontaneous. Okay.
It is spontaneous. You never know what's going to happen. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I'm so used to blue boxing people that there's a different way to do it, so I have to get that in my brain. And when you do it the old-fashioned way, it takes you completely out of the Business Hangout app. But But yeah, Manolos, I want to piggyback. What you said is so super important, because when you're networking, it really is all about them. I mean, ultimately, it's about you and your business, right? Because you're networking. The bottom line of your networking effort is you want to grow your business. But if you want to do it by forming relationships that matter and relationships that are significant, you have to make the conversation as much as you can about the other person. And it's hard, like Manolos said. When you're an entrepreneur and you're super passionate about what it is that you do, you literally want to tell the world. Even an introvert like me, I mean, when I get out there, I'm so passionate about what I do, what my clients are doing, the cool technology that they have, and I just am busting at the seams, and I want to talk about it. But you do yourself a disservice, because ultimately, when you're selling yourself or you're selling your product, it's much easier to sell your product if you do exactly what Manolos said. You listen to the other person, you find out what it is that motivates them, and then if and here's the big if you have something to offer them that will help them with whatever problem or whatever issue they're facing, then it would be appropriate to talk about it. Maybe, you know, from the conversation you've gleaned that, you know what, there's absolutely nothing that I can do for them right now, but, you know, just be a friend and network and establish a relationship, because you never know who that person knows, you know, who may be able to help you down the line.
Yeah.
On the flip side,
Let me
you
add.
never know what you may be able to do for that person or somebody else that they know. Yeah, go ahead, Manolos.
I wanted to add on that because you triggered something in my mind. Another thing is too, right? You want to enter a conversation not thinking about the differences. The point of a networking event is find something where there's common ground, because literally everyone has something to offer you, your business, whatever the case may be. You may not see it if you focus on what you disagree on, but there's got to be something that in a networking situation you can find one thing of common ground. And sometimes it's as simple as, it's been a pleasure to meet you. Wouldn't you like to cross-promote each other on Twitter? Can we do something together as simple as retweeting each other's posts, or as simple as sharing each other's messages? In other words, there never should be a situation where there's nothing that could be done together, because with social media, everyone can do something together at this point.
Yeah, that's awesome, Manolos. Great point. Okay, so I want to hear from the Hermit, from Catherine, and I want to hear, Catherine, I want to hear about what networking have you done so far, and what I'm going to assume that you're kind of a novice to networking, so maybe you even have a horror story or two that you'd like to share.
Horror story, no, because, well, in spite of all appearances to the opposite, I'm actually painfully shy, and I don't like getting out. I don't like talking to people very much. I do a lot. I feel safer doing the social media stuff, so I've been learning a lot about that over the last 6 months. And so, no major faux pas yet.
Yeah. Can I challenge you on something then? Because I think this can really help you, especially with a new business. With a new business, you even if your business is virtual, you can get so much more. There's so many opportunities from in real life networking. So I'd like to challenge you, like maybe over the next month or so, and I'll totally help you do this. But I'd like to help you break out of your comfort zone a little bit and maybe take on a networking event.
Okay.
What do you think? Are you up for the challenge?
To actually host one of these things?
Well, no, not host, but where do you live? What city? Not like what's your address, but what city do you live in?
I'm in Alamosa, Colorado.
Oh, okay. Is it? And roughly what size is the city?
It's let's see. I think it's around 9,000 people here, so it's small.
Okay, cool. Do you know, is there like a Chamber of Commerce? Are there any meetup events, or are there any?
Well, actually, now that you mention it, I got started talking with a lady who sells stuff on eBay and had a brick and mortar consignment store out by the Walmart. She and I got started talking shop the other day, and between the two of us, we're actually there isn't anything established here, which is one of the frustrating things about living here. People, it's what I call a rural ghetto, and people. And I'm not actually the one who coined that phrase. Right. Somebody wrote a book about it, like back in the 90s. But it's what's happened. It's what happens when big agricultural businesses come along and they take over all of the farming and agricultural communities and put all the little farmers out of business, and that's where I live. And there's a large contingent of people who want to keep doing things in the old way, and so me and this lady got started talking about it. We're both entrepreneurs. How can we find other entrepreneurs? How can we put something together? Because there isn't anything. And so we're trying to do that. And actually, it's scaring me to death, but I'm actually giving my first presentation at an initial meeting of small business owners on this coming Tuesday. So I've been, busting butt getting things together for that. So I meet your challenge.
You did. That's awesome. That is
And
awesome. Hold on. Let me see if I can.
But you know, and we'll see what happens. You know, the Chamber of Commerce here is not worth the building it's in.
Well, you know what? You know what? You know what's great though is that you're gonna start. What you're going to start is going to be exactly what your community needs. Here's a round of applause.
I really, really hope so. We're up against a huge, just mental obstacle with the people here. It's just So we'll see what happens.
Right, but you know what's going to happen? Honestly, Catherine, is you're going to find your tribe. There's certainly a tribe of people there amongst that 9,000 and maybe a few more surrounding that are in the same mindset that you are, and now you're going to take that leap, out there, and you're going to find that tribe, and I think that is so awesome and amazing, and I'd like to congratulations.
Thanks.
Congrats for getting out of your comfort zone. I totally want to hear how your presentation goes, and if there's anything I can do, between now and then to help you with that, I'd be happy to do it. Totally happy to do it.
I'd love an extra pair of eyes. If it's on my blog, if you want to. So. Yeah, if you want to remind me, if you want to send me a link to the blog as soon as we're done here. Yeah, I'll check it out. So, hey, John, a few words of wisdom from you on networking.
I'll use an old Southern saying here: shoot with a rifle instead of a shotgun. There's a school of thought that says grab as many contacts as you can, network with as many people as you can, and what ends up happening is some of those contacts that may be very valuable to you fall by the wayside because the good Lord only made 24 hours in a day. So I think you should choose wisely who those contacts are from. I like to say the door swings both ways. People that you can do something for. One thing I look at when I go to network is there something I can do for the person I'm talking to? Is there something I can provide for them? And my feeling's always been when you do that enough, things start to come back to you. People start to say, hey, I can do it. I can do the same for you. And I think it's difficult and it requires a degree of discipline in the beginning, not to simply rush in and say, oh, I can help you with this. Oh, I can help you with that. Oh, call me. Or oh, set something up with me. Or I'll do this for you. Because after a while, what people start to see is that the only thing you're really networking is yourself. And I think Jim made that point earlier, and so did Manolos. And one of the blunders I made was thinking everyone was my niche. Okay, so you kind of have to synthesize it down, and get to the point where you're dealing with a group of people. I mean, the popular term is mastermind. Okay, a group of people you share thoughts and ideas with, and we have one person on this team that's not with us this morning, Bethany, and she's real good to mastermind with because she's just like an encyclopedia of, oh, I know about this or I know about that, or you can go to this link here. Put yourself out there, but put yourself out there with the stuff you know what to do.
Totally. Yep. So in closing, again, hey, thank you, John, for that. That was really good. A couple of other quick tips that I want to give as we're starting to wrap this down. Another thing to consider is if you're going to an actual in real life networking event, I highly recommend that you go in there with a strategy. I mean, your ultimate strategy can be as simple as I want to meet 2 people who I can network with going forward. I mean, don't make your strategy too complex, but do make sure that when you are going to an in real life networking event, because again, the bottom line is you're running a business, you're in business to make money. In order to make money, you have to make sales. In order for that to happen, you have to find clients. So that's always, always the bottom line. But I think maybe where sometimes we get it twisted is that we think we have to do all of that. We have to make hundreds of sales and do everything at the next networking event that comes up. But what really the real case is networking is a long-term endeavor. You're networking for the long term, not necessarily for the short term. You're networking, again, to make connections that not only just benefit you, but like we've all said, how can we also help somebody else? So go into a networking event with a strategy. Keep the strategy simple. Once you've achieved whatever it is that you want to achieve in that networking event, everything after that is gravy, is serendipity. You never know. You might make the connection that can literally change your life, or somebody might connect with you and you literally change their life. So anyways, go in with a strategy. Please, whenever you're networking, one of the most important things of networking is following up with the actual great connections that you made. So don't ever forget about the follow-up, because the whole point of attending the networking event in the first place is to meet people, and then you want to carry on the conversation. You want to be intriguing enough in that networking event that people are going to want to continue the conversation that they had with you initially. So don't forget about the follow-up after any networking event. So with that said, I'd like to ask John and then Catherine for any final thoughts that you have on networking. So go ahead, John.
I think the whole notion and concept of networking has changed a lot, even in the last 3 to 5 years, as kind of evidenced by the virtual networking that's taken place. I think you can employ the same strategies. I just think they have to be metered out in a different way. And the other thing to remember is that in this type of format, in a Google Hangout or a business hangout, people are more camera shy than they often are sitting across from you at a Starbucks or at a live networking event. So sometimes that level of comfort and level of trust takes a little bit longer to develop.
Great. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Great tip, John. Okay, Catherine, any final thoughts on networking?
Looking forward to learning to do it.
Awesome. That's great. And hey, thank you for joining us on your first Hangout like ever, and hopefully we'll be doing more with you, Catherine. And John, thank you. And audience, if there is one out there, I can't really tell with this new format. I hope you've enjoyed our team talks. I think we'll do this. I think initially we'll do this like every Saturday morning for half an hour, and we'll see how it goes. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you're interested in learning more about team referral networks and our virtual teams, feel free to contact me. You can find me on Google+, on Facebook, and on Twitter at @fierce_living. Take care, everyone. Have an awesome and amazing weekend. Get out there and network and grow your business, and we'll talk to you soon.